Welcome to this new UDOO tutorial. Today we are going to learn how to build a network attached storage. A network attached storage, or NAS as is commonly called, is a device very useful both for media enjoying, for backup purposes, for network sharing. So what it is really? A network attached storage is an hard drive connected to your network, which can be accessed by all the device you want, like your computer, your smartphone. You can use it, for example, to download torrents, to share content over DLNA protocol. You can use for seamlessly easy backup, or you can use it as a local server. So a lot of things. It's a device you're gonna find extremely useful, and you will never live without it. And we are gonna build it in UDOO's way. So there's a lot of do-it-yourself involved and a lot of fun as well. Okay, let's see more in depth how it works, how you're gonna connect it to your home network, and the recipe needed to build it. These are the basic ingredients for our project. First, of course, you need UDOO. We are going to use UDOO Quad, which is preferable because it has a SATA connector, but you can also use a dual. Then we are going to use, of course, an hard drive. You better use an hard drive made especially for NAS usage. Then we are going to need a box for our NAS. We in this project used an old electronic component and we emptied it up, but you can also buy a new one if you prefer the cleaner work. Then we need a 12 volts power supply unit. I personally suggest you to use at least 2 ampere of power. Then a fan, which is definitely suggested in order to cool the things down. You can recycle one from an old computer. Then, of course, you need the tools like a screwdriver, for example, and a bit of patience. Your network attached storage, as its name says, is going to be connected to your home network via your router. That way, you can access it from your devices wirelessly or with wired connection. Mind that UDOO features 1 gigabit LAN connection. This is extremely fast. And if you want to take advantage of gigabit speed, you are going to need a router or a switch which are gigabit capable. Our NAS will have a lot of features. We can use it to backup our available data. We can use it as a remote torrent client, so we can download the stuff with torrent without leaving our computer on, for example. We use it as a DLNA server, so if we have, for example, a DLNA capable television or mobile phone, we can access our movies, our music remotely. Then there is a lot of stuff our UDOO powered NAS can do, but we are going to see them lately. You're ready to get started? So let's start building it. I change my clothes and I will be back in. So we are completing this project in basically a recycling philosophy. So we are using UDOO, as you can see here. We are going to use the quad version because this has SATA capability. So we are going to attach directly an hard disk on it. But we are going to recycle some stuff you can easily find in your home. For example, here we have an old stereo system, which is a quite good box to start with. Then you can use an old hard disk from your laptop, or you can choose to use an hard drive made for network attached storage purposes. I do really suggest you not to save money on the hard drive, because this is basically where your data will be stored on. So these are made for the purposes. These are designed to be attached 24/7, and so they should not have problems. If you decided to go with an older drive, you can encounter some problems. So suggest you to spend some money on it and save in the other ways. Let's start. I'm going now empty this old stereo from the components that he has in. Please mind that when you work with electrical components, to take extra care, as there could be some residual electricity in it, and it should be very dangerous. So try to avoid touching electrical components. So let's dismantle it. So now that I have this stereo fully disassembled, I ended up with a bunch of electronic components which, well, we are basically going to recycle in some way. And I have an empty box which I will use as a case for our network attached storage. I also ended up with some motors which were from the cassette deck, which will enable us to make our network attached storage more funny. So let's start building the core system. What we are going to do is place a safe house for our hard disk, for our hard drive. As I told you before, we choose for this project not to save money on a drive, but to buy an hard disk specifically designed for this kind of use. So as you may remember, they are made to be operated 24/7. They have high tolerances for this kind of workload. But you can also use, as I told you, a hard drive from a laptop, and you can attach it with the SATA cable, and the UDOO quads have this capability. But you can choose also to buy, for example, an external case for 2.5 inches hard drives, and you can connect them via USB. This is an example. Of course, this has some drawbacks since you're relying on USB, which is slower than SATA. So since we're gonna make these things properly, we're gonna use a proper drive connected to SATA. As a safe housing for our hard drive, I just found this metal box which is used in ATX computers. So what basically I'm gonna do is use it as a safe house for our hard drive, so screw the hard drives in it, then make some holes in the base of our destroyed stereo, and screw like that. So this is gonna be the base of our network attached storage. Okay, I got the casing attached to the main case of our network hard drive. I used in between a little bit of foam in order to buffer the hard disk vibration, so this is gonna be more safe. So let's examine now how we're gonna wire this thing up. So here we have UDOO quad. As we have previously said, we are going to attach the SATA cable, the SATA data cable, here. So this is where our data will pass. If you are gonna use a little 2.5 inches drive, you just need 5 volts to power it up. So you can safely take your power from the auxiliary DC connector here. And this is all you have to do. If you want to use a 3.5 hard drive like the one I have here, you need also 20 volts, and you can take them here from the VUIN connector as well as the ground. For this application, however, because we are going to set the thing up 24/7, I strongly recommend you to use also a fan which is gonna cool things up. This fan particularly needs 12 volts, so we are gonna attach this in parallel with the 12 volts used for powering up the hard drive. And this is it. This is all the wiring you have to do. I also suggest you to place UDOO into your casing with the Ethernet and the USB port on the external side, so you can access them safely. And that's it. So let's wire it up. Now we got everything set up. You can see that our hard drive stays here in the middle. On the top we got UDOO, and on the back we have USB and Ethernet port. This is what we need, no? To ensure that our network attached storage stays cool and doesn't get overheated, we placed a fan, the 12 volts fan I told you before. Now all we have to do is wire it up. So let's start. First we are going to attach the SATA cable. This goes from UDOO to our hard drive. Okay, now we are going to connect power. For this project we have basically two power rails, one 5 volts and one 12 volts. 5 volts is used by our hard drive, and we are gonna take the 5 volts from the small connector near the SATA port. Then we're gonna need 12 volts for both the hard drive, which has a double voltage needed for working, and for our fan, which works as well at 12 volts. So what we're gonna do is connect in parallel the positive that goes to the hard drive and to the fan with the 12 volts, and do the same with the ground. So in the end what we're gonna do is attach only 4 wires to UDOO, which are gonna provide 5 only for the hard drive and 12 volts that are both for the hard drive and for the fan. I've got my power wires ready now, so let's go to connect them. First we are going to connect the power on the hard drive. Here we go. Then we're going to connect the power on UDOO. So this small wire goes near the SATA port. This is our 5 volts rail. Now to obtain the 12 volts which are needed, we just plug the ground into the pin ground and the 12 volts on VUIN, which is basically the same voltage that comes into UDOO. Okay, now you double check your wiring to see if you wired it up properly, because you can end up with burning your UDOO or your drive, and you don't want that. So once you have double checked, and I'm pretty sure I did, we just feed the UDOO with power and we see if magic happens. UDOO powers up the hard drive and also the fan. As you can see, the fan is spinning UDOO sled is on, and our hard drive is on. So, with the hardware part, we are done. To discover the software we are going to use for our project, to see how to set it up properly and to explore our NAS function, we wait you for our next tutorial. See you soon!